Hey guys, how's it going? So we're back with another video, and I can't do it anymore, okay? I can't do it anymore. I have tried so hard, and I've struggled so hard with what to do about this, okay? This is that unforgivable shit plank from Fender, the Indonesian import, Squender, Liarcaster, Shitocaster, whatever you want to call it, Crapocaster. This thing is a piece of junk. And last week, I believe I proved that it's no better than a used Mexican Fender and is about as good as a used Affinity Strat from like 30 years ago, like an old one. And you're paying $600 for it. So I've really been struggling, you know? This is a low serial number. It's a brand new product from Fender, and I could fix it. Like a lot of people said, oh, well, you can fix all that stuff. You know, the fact that the bridge will not stay in tune, the fact that the neck feels like shit, the fact that the frets kind of stick out to the point where it's noticeable, the fact that the pickups sound bad. I mean, everyone was like, oh, just replace the pickups and replace the trem block and replace the bridge. But that's the problem. That's how we got into this mess in the first place. Because people are like, oh, it's good, except you have to replace everything. That's the Chibson mentality. That's not gonna work. That's not okay. Have our standards sunk so low? Because you can buy something like one of these behind me, like this one. Right here, this is a 2002 Affinity. You can get this for like 80 bucks. It needs nothing. It needs nothing. And it's great. This is a good guitar. It's light and thin body, but who cares at that price point? I'll take this every day of the week over this, and not just for sentimentality reasons. Why have we gotten to the point where we're going to say things like, everything's great, it's a great value, it's a great mod platform, as long as you replace, it's good except, it's great except, it's amazing if, it's fine if you replace. I had to replace the usual hardware. You know it's great except for the usual problems. Why do we have usual problems? Why do we accept those things? Why is that acceptable? In our hobby, we should not allow that stuff. It's ridiculous. I'm going to go set this down. But it's completely and totally unacceptable. Let's run down the problems with this guitar again, okay? Start all the way at the top. The nut is cut like absolute shit. The strings are getting stuck in there. You can hear them pop when you bend or use the trem. You hear them pop. Just lubricate the nut then. I did, and it still does it. And that's beside the point. Guys have been not lubricating their nuts for 100 years without problems. That shouldn't be required for the guitar to function properly. I'm not even talking about the classic case of use the trem, tune, and now when you bend you're out of tune until you use the trem again. I'm talking about you pull all the strings, hell hath no fury, you're pulling the strings, stretching the hell out of them, tune it up, and then you bend it and you hear it go crack, without even talking about this side of it. Terrible, terrible quality. Number two, the frets. They hang over the fretboard. Unacceptable. If it says Fender on the headstock, they should do the bare minimum to at least ensure you get a product that feels nice when you get it, because it says Fender. That is some Squire shit that we're talking about by releasing it from the factory that way. Okay? Oh, but they have amazing, Indonesian guitars have amazing quality control. Maybe PRS does. Maybe Gibson Epiphone does. Maybe Squire Classic Vibe. That's the thing I don't understand. How does Classic Vibe come out of there and they're great, but this isn't? Shouldn't this have better QC than that? It has worse QC than that. And it has Fender on the headstock. Okay, so what are we to? The frets. Okay, then the back of the neck. Oh, it feels bad. It feels bad, man. It feels awful. It feels like cheap, gross, plastic. I'd rather have an unfinished neck than whatever this is. They're calling it a matte polyurethane. Ugh, I'd rather my hand get sweaty and stick to gloss than this. This is just bad. It feels like a cheap, shitty guitar when you feel it. If I had a blindfold on and you handed me this, and I felt this neck, I'd think, ugh, this is probably like, I don't know. I'm not going to name any names because I don't want to insult people. There's brand loyalty with cheaper guitar brands, and that's fun. And I don't want to hurt your feelings, so I'm not going to name anybody. But it'll feel like one of those. Let's move down. The pickups sound, at the same time, somehow, they sound underpowered and lifeless, but they also sound harsh and trebly and too much. How in the hell do you do both of those things? Good job, Fender. You found a way to have an oxymoron of a problem. Moron is right. You guys are all morons over at Fender right now. You made moron pickups. What the hell is that? Doesn't sound good either. They sound terrible. Then if we move down a little further, you have the bridge. And they installed the trem block on my unit here crooked. So the arm sticks out at like a 45-degree angle. And notice it's not installed. You know why? Because it's not usable. Because it goes out of tune the second you touch it. It's floating, and it still goes out of tune. It doesn't matter. I even tried putting extra springs in it and decking it to the body and tuning it. But guess what? Because of the nut problems, it still won't stay in tune. So they screwed it up at both ends. They screwed it up here, they screwed it up here, and they screwed it up in the back. They screwed it up all the way around, all the way. The only thing I can say about this guitar that's good is the color. Color looks cool. It's got that really nice metallic-y color. But you know what else has cool colors? Classic vibes. I have a vintage modified Squier Jaguar that's 1,000,000 times the guitar this is. Same color as this. Great color. Squier does it. This can be a Squier color. So it's not a reason to spend $600 on this guitar for this color. So where does that leave us? What do we do now? Do I fix all those problems? Well, let's name them. I need to install and cut a new nut. I need to file, polish, and crown every fret. I can't do anything about the back of the neck unless I sand the finish off and either refinish it or have it bare, which I'm not doing. I'm sorry, it's just not worth it on this guitar. I would need to replace all the pickups. I would need to replace the bridge. Because they stripped the screws out and the holes are all messed up the way they installed the block. So that's a new bridge and a new block and new pickups. You add all that together, then you're $700 or $800 in. I mean, I'm going to be balls deep in it anyway. I might as well go buy a Gibson Les Paul Studio. I could buy that for that price or less. I could do what I've suggested over and over until I'm blue in the face. I could go buy a Mexican used Fender. I could go buy a new Player 2 Fender Strat for $800. There is no reason for this guitar to exist at all. It is not worth fixing. I was thinking about, well, it'd be good for the channel if I kept it, and I made a series about trying to make it better. No, I'm not going to sell out like that. That's what all these other YouTube people are doing. I've seen all these videos come out in the last couple of weeks about this guitar. They won't go far enough. They won't go there. They won't go there. The doorway's here, and they're smacking their ass into the wall instead of walking through it. Saying things like, well, the pickups are a little bit harsh. They could be controlled a little bit better. Or the frets could use a little work. Or the back of the neck feels a little different. No, that's not an acceptable or appropriate or fair or honest explanation for what's going on. It is misleading all of the people that watch that content. Millions of people who watch these big guys. Why are they being this way? Why aren't they being honest? I'm not stupid enough to think that every YouTuber in the world just gets free stuff all the time. That's not the way it works. I know that. I do think, however, there's a certain drive and a certain awareness that the Eye of Sauron, Fender, Gibson, PRS, Marshall, is looking at them. So they better be careful and not say anything too mean, because they need to be able to walk it back when Fender says, hey, we want to send you the brand new Player 3 Strat to review. Because if they said mean things about this guitar, they might not. So they don't want to go there. Well, I don't give a shit. If Fender doesn't want to send me things, if Fender doesn't want to partner with me, first of all, I'm not delusional enough to think I'd get that anyway. I'm too small. I'm small potatoes. And that's fine. And that's why you should listen to me. Because I'm being honest with you. I have nothing to gain by lying to you at all. Nothing. I'm being totally honest with you. Because I care a whole lot. That's what this whole channel has always been about. Regardless of brand loyalty or whatever you want to accuse me of. I have said it so many times in all of my videos over the years. We do the best with what we have. If we don't have the tools to do the job, we redneck our way through it, right? We find a way to make the things we have sound good. The reason I'm being so different about this is new. This isn't something you're just going to find in a pawn shop. This isn't something you're just going to find used. This isn't something you're just going to find on Marketplace generally. I give those guitars more grace because they're in greater numbers, they're cheaper, and if it was a mistake, it was a long time ago. Let's forgive them. Maybe. Depends on what the mistake was by the guitar company. Generally speaking, let it go. This is brand new, and this could set a terrible, no pun intended, standard moving forward. And what boggles my mind, and people think that, oh, you're racist, and it's because it's Indonesian, and that's why you don't like it, because you're racist, and Indonesia makes great guitars. I never once said this was bad because it was made in Indonesia. I never once said it was bad because it was made in Asia. Some of my very favorite guitars that I own are from Asia. The Kramer Baretta Special, the Epiphone Les Paul Standard 50s. So many, this Chinese affinity behind me. So it has nothing to do with that. That's not a reason why it's bad. It's bad because it's bad. There's no reason for this guitar to exist. I just can't believe it. I took it to my friend. I'm not going to name him. He has owned a music store for decades. Over 50 years. He's been in operation. He's been through it all. He's seen every phase of Fender and Gibson and all these guitar companies. I took it to him today. And I said, hey, this is the new Fender. What do you think? He picked it up and he held it. He said, it feels like a Squire. He played it. And then we had a long conversation about the mistakes Fender has made over the years. And in his words, he said it sounds like Fender is repeating the mistakes they made back in the 70s. That's how it looks to me with the recent developments at Fender and what they've been doing. So this leads me to kind of the whole title and purpose of this video. Should I return this guitar, or should I try to fix it? I decided to give it one more shot. So I took it to my friend Dave's house. He owns a studio. Every week I go over there and I play with him and my other friend, and we just jam, you know? It's informal, we don't usually record anything. We just play, just for the fun of playing. Good friends, hanging out, talking about gear, and playing. And I decided I'm going to take one for the team. I'm going to take this guitar with me, see how it does with a bass player and a drummer. So here we go. It did okay. What you don't hear is how it felt the whole time I was playing it. It didn't feel very good. It was the whole time I was like, I wish I had my SG, or I wish I had my Les Paul, or I wish I had my custom built, or any of my other guitars, because it just didn't feel very good. I felt like it was kind of holding me back a little bit. And the other thing you don't see is the horrible tuning instability. I mean, it got to the point where I was kind of limited to the top 3 strings, because these strings were so woefully out of tune. I didn't want to stop and tune the strings in the middle of the song, so I just kept going with it and just kind of eventually had to start staying down here for some of that. But yeah, so what have I decided? I'm sending this shit back. I don't care if this was something that, I don't care if it was on sale, I don't care if it was a scratch and dent, I don't care if it was a demo, I don't care if you got a sale price on it, 10% off, friends and family discount, whatever. Use the discount on something else. Buy something else. Do not buy this. We have to stand together and make a statement to Fender and say, this shit is enough. Too far. You have gone too far. You've crossed the line. I don't think it's going to happen, though. I think enough people are going to say, but it says Fender, and I always dreamed of one, and I could never afford one, so I'm going to buy one. But being too stupid to buy a used Mexican Fender. You want a Fender, and you've always wanted one, can never afford one, but you can buy $5.99 worth of shit. Maybe that's why you could never afford one. Buy a Mexican Fender used if you want a Fender, because this is not it right here. This is a terrible guitar. I recommend it to nobody. If you want to be perpetually frustrated, and honestly, I'm starting to wonder if this really terrible black logo is going to end up becoming a meme, a guitar meme, where when you see this specific logo, it means something. You know how there's jokes about Schecter and Line 6 and stuff like that, right? I'm wondering if this black Fender logo is going to be like that someday, where that's like a joke logo, right? It's like it becomes its own meme. And then people start buying these things because they've been blown out and they're terrible and they're cheap. And then in spite of what they are, they start playing them to make a statement or something. I don't know. That's the future. But right now, no. Do not buy this guitar. It is a piece of shit. I am returning it. I don't know what I'm going to do with the money. I might buy something else for us to review. I might just keep it. I might wait and save it and see if I find something else that I like better. But I can tell you, beyond a reasonable doubt, directly compared to other guitars in a vacuum and against holding an air guitar is better than this. So thank you all very much for watching. I appreciate all of you so much. Your contributions to engaging with this content and watching my videos, helping me along over the years, enables me to make terrible financial decisions like this, to buy a guitar like this, because brands don't send me stuff, I buy them myself. You guys help me a lot with that. So I want to thank you all so very much. Please follow the Discord, join the Discord if you haven't already. The link is in the description below. We talk about guitar gear, stuff like that. People, you broke your guitar, you don't know how to use the truss rod adjustment, whatever. We help out with that kind of stuff in there. We have a great time, and we try to keep up on current events too. It's a great time. Hope to see you there. So there we go. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate all of you. See you next time, and keep on rocking.